of course. So there are some things that you can focus on not doing so you hit your goals faster and that you stay on track. And a lot of the things I'm going to talk about tonight are not the typical things that you would read in a book or read in somebody's Instagram post or, whoever, whatever social media influencer told you, cut carbs or cut fats because it's not going to help you get to your goals. What I want to talk about mostly is the mindset side of it and the things that go on behind the scenes in your life that hold you back from hitting your goals. And the reason I think this is so important and why I think personal coaching is so important is because it's the day-to-day stuff that impacts our decision making, it impacts our lifestyle, it impacts our habits, our behaviors, and all of these things all together make up what kind of person we are, what kind of results we get. And when you, if you just were to hone in and say, like everyone says, eat healthy, work out 4 to 5 days a week, and eat healthy, and you're like, all right, well, just eat healthy, whatever that means, I guess vegetables and lean meats or lean proteins, whatever those are. So I just eat foods that, like rabbit food, because that's what it sounds like when somebody is like, oh, just eat veggies and fruits and then just a little bit tofu and meat and you're good to go. So you never have Doritos, you never have pizza, you never have ice cream, you never have cake, you never. So okay, so you know what to eat, right? And you should work out 4 to 5 days a week in order to get results. So if everybody knew this information, eat healthy and work out, and we just all implemented it in that straight linear motion of eat healthy and work out, then we all would be fitness models. Right? If it was that simple to be like, just eat healthy, just work out, right? There's a lot more that goes into what uh sums up our results and sums up our life and how we can best live, right? And one of the things that you guys probably know is that I love beer and I love mac and cheese. These are two things that I really enjoy. If you don't know that, well, now you do. I really enjoy them. But I also know that, of course, they have to come in moderation and balance, right? And that's what I want to make sure that people understand when going ahead with their fitness journey is you can hit massive goals, massive change, and still enjoy really enjoyable foods that you want. It's just, where's the balance? How do we make it work within our days? And how do we mentally make it happen for us as well without having the beer and mac and cheese one day and being like, oh, fuck it. I screwed up my diet this day, so I'm just gonna have pizza this day now too. Let me have a red wine now. It's Thursday. Like this week's gone. So I'm gonna have a burger tonight. I'll start next Monday. And then 52 Mondays go by and you're a year down the road and you're like, oh crap, I gained 15 pounds or whatever. So how do we not go down this cycle is what I really like to talk about and coach on so you guys can implement this to your life. Does that sound good so far? All good, guys? Awesome. Okay. Amazing. Uh so I'm going to give you 8 reasons you're not hitting your goals. And then that way, remember, when we know what we're doing wrong, okay, or that's kind of sabotaging us or keeping us stuck, then we can fix it. And that's the big thing. Is like once you kind of recognize these things and understand the behaviors, you're like, "Ugh, okay, so how can I shift it? How can I make it work better for me?" So, reason one, this is no particular order, by the way, you guys. I just took my top 8 that I see throughout the years that people hit these roadblocks and go, screw it. I'm not doing this anymore. Nah. So, I want to get past the screw it and make sure you guys know how to keep moving forward. So, reason number 1, you're too hard on yourself. Okay. All or nothing. this is what I see too often. It's too familiar. It happens over and over again. And this is where people tend to give up on their goals because when starting a fitness journey, it's like, I'm going to work out all the time. I'm going to do an hour and a half every day when you've done nothing for the last 6 months. I'm going to start. Okay. I heard I'm supposed to do an hour every day, hour and a half with cardio. I'm going to stretch and I'm going to eat vegetables only. And and there's so many stipulations on this all or nothing plan that what happens when one of these things go by the wayside is that you also go by the wayside because that self mentality has gone, you failed already. You couldn't even last 1 week. You told yourself you're going to work out 4 days this week and you only got 2 done. Oh, and then you had like Sharon's birthday at school and you had a piece of cake. Oh my gosh, you failed your diet too. Like, I don't know who Sharon is, by the way. But all these lifestyle things that kind of happen, and that then you fail your actual planning because your planning, it's not you that's failed, it's that your planning's way too aggressive. So you've gone from, I'm just going to say 0. I'm not saying you guys, but just in general, like you're going from 0, it's being like, I need to lose or want to lose 10, 15 kilos. So I'm going to do all the things right immediately on Monday. And then Wednesday, Thursday comes around and you're like, oh, yeah. So we got to stop being too hard on ourselves and start remembering that it's a step-by-step process. And there's intent versus what your everyday behaviors are, right? When you haven't done something for years and years and years, you have to start with the intent, make it a routine, make it a habit, and then it becomes your behavior, it becomes a part of you, right? People like, not anymore, but for many moons, people would ask me, why do you still work out? I'm like, because I still want to be healthy and fit. Like I've been working out since 1999. It's my goals do this, they change all the time. They don't go up and down, sorry, but they change all the time. I'm like, certain things change. But why I still work out? Because it's part of who I am. So we start with the intent first, and then we build up, and then it becomes part of your life. So, any questions or thoughts on being too hard on yourself? Mhm. I'm sure we've all done it to an extent. You don't have to share. I'm just we've done it. Yeah. We've done it in different ways, whether it's health and fitness, whether it's your food, whether it's a project at school or your boss is too hard. We set ourselves up for big things sometimes. We just need to move the goalpost a little bit closer sometimes. So I'm just going to dive into number 2. The reason that you're not hitting your goals is like a busy schedule, time restraints. So a lot of people find that the timing is just almost impossible. It's not doable. We all have 24 hours in a day, but the priorities tend to shift depending on where you're at in life. Remember, we have a long life to live and we've lived a long life. I'm sure you're not, is everyone here over 30? Yeah. Okay. I'm sure you're not living the life you lived at 20, right? I'm sure your goals at 20 years old were a little bit different than at 30 years old, right? So things shift and change. We need to do that as well. But what happens with time and busy schedule is the priorities shift in a way that you don't take care of yourself. And I'm going to pick on teachers a bit for a second here. I love you guys so much, by the way, whoever's teachers here. But teachers have such a busy workload, especially in China, that workload becomes like the be all, the end all, and you end up forgetting about yourself. So when it comes to busy time schedules, I would really encourage you guys to, number 1, if you can, do it in the morning for workouts before you do anything else. You take care of you first. If you cannot do that, then the first thing after work. And if you're somebody who after work, when your mandatory time is 4 p.m., I want to say, so 7 to 4, about that. So 4 p.m., but you've got workload because you want to prep for the next day. I would encourage you to do your workout before you start your next shift of work for prep for the next day. Because what happens is at 4 p.m., when the kids go, when you're allowed to go or whatever, and you've got to prep for the next day, it just all snowballs. And then you're tired and want to get home and want to eat and want to get to the couch and to the TV. I got a new TV. I just wanted to point it out. I don't know if I pointed it out before. I really love it. So I get that. Just try to remember that you and your health are number one. If you're having trouble finding time in your schedule, please reach out to me, because I'm really good at carving out this time and really good at making it happen. If you look at the workouts and you're like, ugh, it's a little bit too long, what do I do? Seriously, message me. I'll help you. I'll help you like reshift the mindset and be like, all right, I can do this. I just need to focus on this, 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 this. And that way your health and your fitness doesn't go by the wayside. Number 3, team. Or any questions, thoughts for number 2? Lack of time, busyness. Oh, one thing I actually wanted to ask, if you have a question after this, or not ask, sorry, also add, is we're always busy all the time. It's just about making that time, because often what we do is we take too much time to do things, actually. So I'm not going to go into the whole theory behind this, because it's another coaching call on its own. But if you have on Monday, your boss says you need something handed in on Friday, or let's use university. Everyone went to university here, right? So Monday you get you have an exam on Friday. But Monday goes by, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, you're like, oh my God, the exam on Friday. Let me study for 6 hours in a row to make sure I'm ready for that exam on Friday. But if your teacher had told you on Monday, you have an exam on Wednesday, you would have got that study time done in a shorter amount of time because the deadline was that time. So the reason I'm saying this is often when we have to do other things that we prioritize before our own health and our workout is things that we can actually condense into a smaller amount of time. It's just knowing how to do it and making sure that that happens. So keep that in mind when you give yourself, especially those outside of work hours that you need to do certain things for prep. Give yourself a time limit, so that way your time limit can go to your workout as well. Annie, you have a question, bud?
More an observation, actually. So when I started, how long have I been with K2Fit now? A year and a bit.
A year and a bit.
Yeah. When I started, I was definitely, I have no time. I can't do it. I can't find the time. We spoke about starting off with 2 workouts a week a year ago.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids, full-time job, husband, work till 6:30 at night, start at 6. Like the excuses are there. Or the reasons, should I say. But now, like, it's amazing how much time I've managed to carve out for me within my routine. It's like it started off little by little, like started doing just 2 sets of the workout twice a week. Now I managed to get to the gym like 5 days a week and like 3 cardio sessions in, and my routine hasn't changed. It's just I've managed to, and I don't actually know where the time came from, because if you'd asked me a year ago, I would have gone, no way, no chance
Right.
at all.
Yeah. That's so cool. That's really good to hear, Annie. That's amazing. And I think that was just your, like mindset kind of shift. Like, what do I need to do and prioritize first, and how to get it done? And you've, proven that you can. And I'm sorry to put you on the spot, Annie, but how much have you lost in this year?
15 kg.
15 kg. It's cool, buddy. Yeah, definitely. Congrats. That's awesome. And the second triathlon, I love you, bud. Yeah, it's doing great. Yeah. But I'm glad that you've like reshifted, not reshifted, but you shifted that. because it is one of the biggest things is time. Everybody, good gosh. I often don't go to the gym on Mondays because I don't have time, but it's my busiest day. So I actually choose sometimes not to go to the gym on Mondays. I'm like, I gotta get it done Tuesday to Saturday because, but yeah, thank you so much for sharing, bud. Any other questions, thoughts, team, or run into the next one? Shanna, you kind of, yeah, I can see the wheels turning, bud. You look doodle.
I don't know if this is relevant to the topic, but just in regards of like timing wise,
Yeah.
because obviously I usually start on the Monday. Regarding like if you're like the days that you kind of have as like rest or active rest, is there a difference between, or would you recommend? It is not. I don't know. I can't talk properly. Is there a difference between having 2 rest days in a row? So, for example, like Saturday, Sunday,
Mm.
or is it better to do like one like say Wednesday, Wednesday, or does it not really matter as long as you kind of have this, have
Yeah.
1 or 2?
Yeah, you're kind of answering your question, which is awesome. I would just do what you can in your schedule for sure, because I think this is where people overthink things too much. If I were to tell you the perfect schedule, I'd be like, all right, work out Monday and Tuesday because it's 2 days in a row, rest Wednesday, work out Thursday, Friday, do active rest Saturday, and then rest again on Sunday. But what if your schedule doesn't allow for that? You're like, oh, but my Friday is screwed and I want to go for, light happy hour or whatever, and I don't want to work out on that. So I want to work out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I want to take Friday off and then you know what I mean? So it's really up to you, but the way that I program the workouts are built so you can just do them in a row. So you don't have to worry. Like you could do Monday to Thursday and then take off. I mean, I wouldn't recommend this, but don't, but you could Friday, Saturday, Sunday and just do nothing. But then that's a weekend warrior situation where I would be like, oh, what are you doing on the weekends? But you could, you know what I mean? Like there's gray with it, but just get them done in the row, that, or the order that I give you. So day one, workout 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah. Cool, bud. Sweet. All right. I will keep diving in and make sure I get through all 8 at least. Reason number 3 is lack of support. Okay. You guys have already done the awesome thing is join K2Fit because you're in a place where people want you to win. And I hope you guys really feel that. Everybody in K2Fit wants each other to win. Like that's the great thing. You want a supportive community, but you don't always find that. And wherever you get that, that's great. But what I want you to consider is who you surround yourself with as well. Are you hanging out with negative people? Are you hanging out with people like, oh, you're on that diet again? Or, like negative kind of connotations that don't support your journey? Just be careful who you surround yourself with, because negative people can bring negative energy down, right? No matter who we are and how positive we are, if we surround ourselves, if I hung out with negative people all the time, I'm sure I'd be on this call and be like, everything sucks. Like you build your community based on what you want to achieve. So I would just and maybe you haven't thought of it that way, so maybe I just want to express that as well, is if you see people that you want to be like, or you look up to, or you think like, oh, they're a pretty cool dude, cool chick, get in their atmosphere, be around them, because that comes on to you, that spreads to you as well. Just like the gossip at work or the colleagues at work that only complain about admin or only complain about, like, yeah, there's a time and place, I get it, we need to vent and whatnot, but just be careful who you're around. And so being in the community of K2Fit, we all want you guys to win in life, not just in fitness, but in life. Like that's the whole goal, is us live our best life. So do that on your yeah, the people that you surround yourself with in online and in person. Questions about that at all? No. Okay. Okay. Have you actually, quick question for you guys, have you ever heard of the saying you become like similar, it's not the exact quote, but the 5 people that you're closest with, that's kind of like a melting pot of who you are if you take on these habits of the 5 people that you're closest with. And if you have you ever heard of that? Anyone? No? No? And one yes, kind of? Okay. That's cool. That's fine, guys. It's something that I've read up on quite a number of times and through like different speakers and different coaches that I work with. And it rings true a lot, which is quite interesting because then and not to say like your friends are bad or your family's bad or things like that, but the people that you're with, it trickles down. Like, for example, if you watch sport, or your friends talk about cars all the time, and you're like, I don't know anything about cars, but you hang out at the pub with them, and all they talk about is cars. You're gonna learn a lot about cars, right? Because they're just talking about cars all the time, and they love cars. You're like, okay, yeah, F1's cool. Oh wow, there was a crash last week because you guys are talking about it, right? But if they're talking about, I don't know, breath work and fairy dust, I don't know, I'm just pulling things out here, then like you tend to vibe that same vibe. So just be careful. If you're hanging out with party animals, you're probably gonna party a little bit too hardy. If you're hanging out with peeps that want to be active and go for bike rides, you're probably gonna more often go for bike rides and stuff. All right, I'll dive into reason 4. We touched on this a little bit, but setting unrealistic expectations. So unrealistic goals that you're not able to meet. And I really hope at the beginning of this 10-week challenge that you guys all did set some goals for, can I get a thumbs up if you set some goals for the 10 weeks? Or like it doesn't have to be like finite weight or anything, but like eat healthier, get to workouts, yes? Okay, great. Those are realistic goals, actually, Shanna. The reason I actually pulled that from you is because unrealistic goals could be something like, in 10 weeks, I want to learn, learn Mandarin. I was going to say, I don't know why I was listening to, in 10 weeks, I'm going to learn Mandarin and I'm going to lose 50 kilos. You'd be like, oh, it's a little tight. Like 10-week time, like maybe you should like give yourself a little bit more time. So setting unrealistic expectations, unfortunately, often can set people up for failure. So making sure that we have these intact. So understanding what realistic expectations and achievable goals is important though. So does anyone want to share what you guys thought about when you first joined the 10-week? And we can dive into it a little bit. You don't have to, but do you want to share? Anyone? Shanna, you can share. Oh, Jordy. Yeah, Jordy, go. I got you.
So one of mine that I have actually been really good at was no late night takeaways.
Oh.
But I have had, but like, and not being too hard on myself, like understanding, okay, maybe I'm going to bed a little bit later tonight. So I have had like a small little healthy snack, like a piece of apple or something like later at night. So it's not like I haven't 100% filled in the note eating late at night, but I definitely haven't bought any takeaways since this challenge started.
That's awesome, buddy. Yeah, that's a huge one. I know we talked about that at the very beginning, right? So that's really good. Yeah, that's got to feel good.
And I've saved money.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Of course, Mates one's like, hey, they're probably sending you adverts like, hey, do you want to order again? Yeah, no, good on you. That's awesome. That's really good.
Thanks.
Good. Yeah. Annie, how about you, buddy? And we lost Shanna. Hopefully she comes back in.
How do I muted myself. How did I do that? Yeah, okay.
You're good.
Technology. Mine initially was obviously the triathlon. But in my head, it's been a goal for probably since we started, is to do a pull-up. I don't know if realistically we're going to be there by the 10 weeks, but it's getting closer. I can see improvements, but that's kind of a goal that's been ongoing.
Yep. I think you will. You said 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got like 6 weeks left, right? 6 weeks? Yeah. I think you will, bud, because you sent me the video the other day. Just so you know, Jordy, if you need me to check form or anything, you can also do that. But you sent me the video the other day and I checked it out, and you've got really good form and your speed with the band, right?
Mhm.
So it's just about getting more confident to do less on the band, and how we can get to negative pull up and then full pull up. So I think week to week, that if that's one of your big goals, bud, like let's message on Sunday and just let me know where you're at with the band so I can like help you with the next week, okay? Because there's
Okay.
ways to
And
build
then
that up, for sure.
okay. And the other one's my other goal's kind of linked to it. But I don't think it's a smart goal because I don't know how I'd judge if I've achieved it. But I want my back and to look more toned. So that's kind of like the other one.
Okay. I think with that, I mean, photos are going to be your best measurement on that, which I think you did photos at the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, with the workouts, it's going to help with that. But I think if it's a physical change like that, where you want to see more tone, it will probably just be through photos. But I think it's
Okay.
realistic. You just have to, like, when you do your photos, you do the exact same lighting, exact same placement, so you can really see, like, what did I shift or what do I still want to work on? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Shanna, welcome back, buddy. Was there something you were gonna share? Or you shared already, right?
No, I was gonna say
You were gonna share.
my phone died. So I guess like yeah, physically, just I guess just kind of like any change, because that's I think I get that's when I kind of get a bit like, oh, what's the point? Like I'm like I've been like a month and I can't like even now like the last day on Friday was like away in and I do like my own weekly pictures. And I
Right.
was like, I cannot see a difference. And I was like, oh, then I was like, that's because I was like, but then I was like, so then I'm not then going to go back to the like, the things, and because I was like, then you're never not going to see a difference. You're going to see a difference the opposite way. So mine's the mindset of like patience and just realizing that it doesn't just happen because you've done it for 3 weeks. Like it's not just an overnight remedy.
Yeah.
And then my kind of mental one is more just kind of like rather than thinking about it as like a 10-week diet, trying to get into more of like a lifestyle change, like when I'm done getting used to like what I'm doing, not just like, okay, 10 weeks is done. Now I go back to, well, not back, but just kind of getting more into like an actual, this is now what I do every day rather than just for the 10 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, buddy. And that was one of the things with the pizza, the tortilla pizza that you made, right? Like that's a shift that's totally manageable. Of course, it's not the same as a white pizza with lots of fats and all the things that is going to make it, but it's a good shift. And one more thing I want to mention is it's very hard to see change after like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's the body really starts to make physical change because it's changing. The thing is it's changing and your body is shifting because you've put in the work, you're eating healthier, the body is shifting, but you won't see these micro changes so fast. That's the sucky part sometimes. Like I would love to be like, yes, you can lose 10 kilos in 3 weeks and da da da. I mean, you'd have to be super extreme and aggressive in this kind of weight loss, and it would be unmanageable, actually. So just give it that time and consistency because the changes will happen. I would suggest you don't do photos every week right now. I would just wait for the 10 weeks. You can't actually, I'm going to scrap that. I'm going to go back. You can do photos and measurements every single week. Don't compare until the end. And and then at the end, remember those flip books where you have like a flip book and it's like a stick man running and you're like, and the stick man's running. You're like, oh, that's funny. I mean, that's when you can see your body change in that sense. But from week to week, you won't see the change in that sense. You'll see it from week 1 and 10. That's why we do the 10 weeks. Okay. So give yourself some grace and time and consistency. And
Can I jump in?
Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I lost quite a lot initially, quite relatively quickly. But I didn't personally, I could not see the change for many, many months, even though other people kept saying the change and seeing the change. Even now, Cara's always telling me off when I look at my own photos. I can't see the change. I struggle in my own mind. That's something I'm still trying to work on, but I still see the things that I don't want to see. So don't be so hard on yourself if you're not seeing the change as well. That doesn't mean it's not happening.
It's happening. Yeah, exactly. It's happening. It's happening. Just sometimes we can't recognize it or take it in. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Annie. That's appreciated, bud. Because yeah, I remember like the first couple months we were working together. You're like, I don't see anything. I'm like, how? I'm looking at her photos. I'm like, you you can see. She's like, I don't see it. I'm like, oh my God. So sometimes it's in our mind too. But just give yourself time, Shanna. You're doing great, buddy. You're on track. You're doing the workouts. You're doing the food. Yeah, keep going. All right, team. We are at 10 minutes left, and I am only at 0.4 because I think the great thing about when we have a nice small group, not that big groups aren't great, but when we have a small group, I really like to hone in on what you personally need and make sure that you're on track, because I can lecture you for an hour without any banter or feedback, but it's not going to give you the most value. So that's why I try to bring you guys into this to make sure you're getting what you need for this upcoming. I can do this workshop again or add on the 4, that's totally fine. But I will continue, but please do banter, because if we only get through 4 or 5, it's totally fine. And we have tons of workshops coming up, so it's all good. Another one, so reason 5 that we are not hitting our goals is that comparing yourself to others. Okay, it's nice to reference others' journey. Like, I'll use the positive reference, for example. Okay, so Annie, your reference, you just said, you're like, I worked out for months and I didn't see any change, but I knew I was changing. People knew I was changing, but I was looking at that. Maybe you were just looking at yourself. Actually, I don't know. I'm just throwing you into the field, the bus here. But comparing yourself to others, we want to stay in our own lane, and we want to make sure that we're looking at what we're achieving. And often, as we said, maybe it's not the mirror at first. Maybe it's just, before I started the 10-week challenge, I was eating crap. I wasn't paying attention to any of the foods that I was supposed to eat, and I wasn't working out. I would walk maybe 2 days a week, but now I started the 10-week challenge, and I'm paying attention to what vegetables I'm putting on my body. Even if it's not perfectly calculated, I'm eating healthy. I'm not ordering late night snacks or Meituan anymore, and I'm doing the workouts. Like, that's epic. That's amazing. And that's the foundation of what actually needs to be done to see results. What doesn't need to be done to see results is you looking at somebody else's journey and being like, oh, Cindy Crawford is 12'4" and 50 pounds. Why am I not like her? Don't be like Cindy Crawford. Poor Cindy Crawford. You're fine. But comparing yourself to others or their journey and what they've done, we don't know what other people have going on in their life, what food they eat, what they do. All we need to do is look forward in our journey. Really need to focus on ourselves and staying in our lane. It's one of my favorite sayings, whether you're a race car driver, swimmer, whatever, just stay in your lane. Don't look left, don't look right. When you look left, right, that just slows you up. It just makes you stumble because you're like, oh, what's happening with, Sharon or Tom? What are they doing? It doesn't matter, because you don't live in Sharon's body. What you live in is your body and your life, and you want to be your happiest self. So just keep your blinders on. Don't worry about anyone else, what they're doing. The only time I like to worry about anyone else, because I'm K2Fit community, I'm Coach Kara, is like when we were just celebrating other people. But we shouldn't take them down because we didn't hit that exact goal at the exact same time, right? We're just like, oh my God, Sharon and Tom, they're doing great. Good job, Sharon and Tom. Cool. And I keep going. I keep on my path. Right? So just keeping in your state and what you need to do for your results. Questions, thoughts on comparing yourself to others? All good. Okay. I'll do one more and then we'll go to final Q&A. I'm going to choose the one. We talked about consistency, so I can skip that one. There's two that are kind of similar. Overly restrictive diets and stress and emotional eating. So I'm going to combine that for this last point, okay? So turning to snacks and sweets during stressful work days. This can lead to, of course, weight gain and reduced energy. When we stress and emotional eat, this tends to happen when we also have too much on our plate, feeling overwhelmed later in the week, because our willpower starts like, let's call it Sunday night. You're like, yes, Monday's coming. Actually, Monday sucks. I have to work, but I'm going to do well on my fitness and my health. It's all about me. Cool. And then like it starts to decrease your willpower of when people offer you donuts, food, it's too hard to meal prep, I'm going to order out. All these things tend to happen later in the week, right? When we're stressed and overworked and overtired. So making sure that this can happen, but making sure that you don't allow it to trickle in too far, too fast, too much. And I said it before, whereas you get to a Thursday and maybe you stress and emotional eat on Thursday because you're tired. Okay, cool. I mean, not cool, but that's all right. But on Friday, we don't just like throw away the whole week because something happened and trickled in, right? We just pick up and remember that there's 7 days in a week. There is no the right day or the wrong day to eat or drink or all these things. The only reason that we allow that is because our work week is generally Monday to Friday. Is everyone here Monday to Friday, or do we have? Yes, Monday to Friday. So I'm sure you get to Friday and you're like, yes, best day ever, right? That's cool. It's fine. But we don't want to throw away Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 3 days, because of a hard week. So always remembering to go back to your why. Why are you doing this? What are your goals? How do you make this a lifestyle, instead of just throwing away the week and diving into, I'm just going to eat whatever. Oh man, yeah, I have popcorn for tonight. I was like, what could I eat now that I'm talking about eating? So I hope you guys get what I mean. I'm not going to dive too much into like the emotional side of that and all the barriers, because it could be a very, very long topic. But I just want you guys to remember that it's okay to slip up sometimes. It's okay to eat a pizza, a burger, or what, I don't know what you guys really like. Mac and cheese and beer. It's okay to do that. It's not okay to just be like, oh, well, screw it, I messed up on my diet, I'm supposed to be on the 10-week challenge. You're supposed to be on the 10-week challenge to understand that this is a lifestyle and you can do 80-20. You can enjoy and you can still lose weight, have a great time, have the best friends, work out, get those in, the 4 days in with sometime within your 7 days, and it's all doable. And if you're not sure what's doable, and if something slips up, please remember to reach out to us, because there's always a solution. I promise you. That's the whole point of coaching, is like, all right, seeing a problem, how do we create a solution? Not every solution is going to work for every single person, but there's always a way. Always a way. So team, I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I'm going to take a quick photo actually before I forget. So if you want to fancy yourself up or whatever. And if you have any final questions, let me know. I'm gonna take a photo in. We ready? We good? Okay, 3, 2, 1. You guys are the best. All right. Any final questions or thoughts?
I think that's maybe my main one is the stress thing where like if I've had a bad day, that is when I'm like, right, the Doritos are coming out. So that's what I'm trying to like today was one of those days, but luckily I was like there was nothing around me that I could have, whereas I think if there was, I probably would have had it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I think that's my kind of like one of my goals is to just kind of combat relating stress to it's pig time.
Right. Right. That's a good thing to remember, buddy. And I think we talked maybe about this before, but if there is for Doritos, for example, remember, don't like grab 12, and like if you're gonna indulge, eat super slow so you don't like eat the whole bag kind of thing. But of course we want to avoid like too much of that stuff. And let me know if you have any questions on how to like curb it a bit. Okay. Cool. All right, team. Annie, did you have anything? Jordy, did you have
I
anything?
was gonna
Yeah.
say mine's similar. I still struggle with mine's not necessarily stress eating. It's more like tired, emotionally, like physically tired. And I just can't be bothered to even think anymore. Never mind think what should I eat, what's healthy, what's available. It's literally what is there, and I'm just gonna. So it's still something that I'm working on, and I'm trying to have the right things to grab in those situations. So, for example, I came in today and I needed something. I got a handful of cashew nuts and an apple, rather than, and it still had that sweet and crunchy, which was what I was wanting. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's one of my
But
favorite
it's not
snacks,
easy.
actually. It's not the cashew, but peanut butter with anything. Peanut butter with apple, carrot, a celery, capsicum. What else did I have the other day? Cucumber. Like just because you have the crunch and you have the sweet of the peanut butter. You just have to be careful that you don't peanut butter. It's like a bowl like this big with like 1 carrot. Yeah, so you gotta be careful with your tricks, but all right, you beauties. Thank you guys so much. I really hope that you took some value today. My point of getting these coaching calls is to like give you guys some inspiration, some motivation, and to walk away with like kind of a pep in your step. Like, okay, I got this. Cool. And if you don't and you need some extra help, message anytime. We love coaching you guys, and we want to make sure you're successful. Okay. Sweet team. Mwah. Have a happy night, and I'll see you guys in the chats, okay? Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.